Good evening. How are you? How is everybody doing today? Who are the ones who are invited here for the first time? Who has never been to anything like this before? Lift up your hands, please, those of you that are here for the first time. Good, 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 good. Please, let's give a strong applause for the people who are here for the first time. My function this evening is basically for the new people who were invited and are here for the first time. Those who lifted their hands, because the grade or measurement will be my ability to explain what I saw in the business to you. This evening may be very important to you. It may be the most important night for you to understand this information. But it does not depend so much on you guys as it depends on me. So I'm going to do the work in the most sincere and to the best of my ability for you to understand. If you do not understand, be calm and put the blame on me. I'm going to do what is possible for you to understand, to see the elements that are most important. And we're going to make a pact. Let's make a pact with each other. The minutes that I am going to be here today, I'm going to do my best to transmit the information in the best possible way that I have understood it. And if there is even one person that was invited that did not understand, please lift up your hand and say, I did not understand. Can you explain this part to me, or could you clarify whatever needs clarification? Are we on the same page? Good. Because we do not want not even one invited person to leave tonight without understanding. We want you to understand. I understood. And if you do not want to do this, it may be because you have your own decision or reason, but I don't want you to say, one time I went to one of those meetings and I didn't understand anything. I do not want that to happen because sometimes it does happen. The entire event is dedicated to you, the person who is invited for the first time. A reunion of family and friends was the key to freedom for me. For many of the invited people, it could be tonight, because this hotel tonight very well could be the difference in your life if you are looking for something. If you are looking for something. 8 years ago, I was an employee and I found out about this opportunity. I had worked my way up to mid level manager in corporate America. I went to school for 20 plus years and have postgraduates, and at one point I was submerged in university life. I am going to explain why I saw the business, and I am going to explain it with a story. When I read this story, it had a profound impact on what I discovered and how I understood this opportunity. Someone lent me a book. So you're not going to have to read that book, because I'm going to share with you the 450 pages that I read in that book, which resulted for me to do the business. The author says in a city in Italy, a little bit south of Florence, there was a problem with the water supply in this village. Everyone knew there was a water hole nearby the village, and the people had to take water from the well and walk it back to the village. Everyone from the village had problems accessing water to consume. So the village council got together to make decisions about the water problem that was raising concerns. The council came up with the following solution: the village will reward two families a contract to supply water for the entire village. Okay, remember, this job is to supply water for the entire village. The water from the well nearby is to be transported over to the village for people to consume. One of the families that was rewarded this village contract was ready to start working right away. What the family did was buy all the buckets that they could. The family used buckets to carry the water from the water hole to the village. On one stick, he would carry two buckets. His son also helped carry buckets of water from the water hole to the village. His wife later got involved carrying buckets of water, and later he persuaded neighbors to help carry buckets as well. What they did was carry water from the water hole to the village. So, my question is, did the water sell? Yes, of course it sold. It was in big demand. They were happy being the first of the two families contracted to start supplying the water to the village. They made money, and everyone was happy taking water buckets on a stick across their back from the water hole to the village. Shortly after the family was rewarded the contract, his son went off to college, and Dad said, "Son, come back quick to help with the business." Very quickly, the first contractor felt the physical toll of the hard work carrying buckets to the village every day. Health problems began to sit in, while the second contractor had disappeared for 2 whole years. 2 years later, the second contractor showed up. What the second family did was focus on the project for 2 years. They tapped into their creativity and imagination. The family asked themselves, how could we somehow get the water from the hole to the village? The second question they asked was, how can they make this possible without carrying the buckets over their back? So what they did was they created and built a pipeline that ended with a shut-off valve at each residence. The second contractor, after thinking and creating a plan, was able to bring water to the houses and charge cents for the water. The village not only enjoyed lower cost of the water, the convenience was a huge plus. The result of the second contractor's plan was also cleaner water because the buckets brought back very dirty water. The first contractor carried buckets while the second contractor dedicated 2 years of study to map out and create a pipeline or system that was installed at each individual residence. It was so successful that the people no longer wanted water from the first contractor. The people wanted water that came to the house from the pipe with a valve so they could wash clothes and take showers more conveniently. The best part of the entire deal was they paid 70% less for the water. It was so successful, the second contractor was able to grow and offer his services to other villages throughout Italy. The author concludes the story by saying, in real life, you will either carry buckets all your life, or you will study and use your creative imagination to construct a system, in this case, a network to consume products. What do you think I had been doing? All of these years after college, I had been carrying buckets. Well, I was an employee that had studied more than 20 years in school. I had done everything I could to have a professional career. What was I doing? I was carrying buckets of water this whole time. I went to school to carry buckets of water. Do you know anyone who went to school to carry buckets of water? So the big question is, maybe you did not know that you're carrying buckets. I did not know I was carrying buckets, and this is why what I am going to show you for me was not optional. For me, there was no other option because either I did it or I have to spend the rest of my life carrying buckets. My body was getting tired of carrying buckets. I already had almost 15 years of doing this. What was I doing? I was carrying buckets. My job that would give me a paycheck as an employee, I would start work at 7 a.m. Well, I would take a shower and eat breakfast. I would go to work, and in the evening, I would get home tired and watch TV. The next day, I would get up, shower, and eat breakfast. I would work, and at night, come home and watch TV. The next day, I would wake up, take a shower, eat, and go to work. At the end of the day, I would come home and watch TV. Then I would go to sleep. I would wake up, take a shower, I would eat breakfast, and then go to work. At the end of the day, I would come home, guess what? Tired, and watch TV, then go to sleep. The next day, I would wake up, shower, then eat breakfast. I would go to work, then come home tired, watch TV, and go to sleep. But one day, I woke up and I put my foot down and everything started to change. So I woke up and showered, ate breakfast, and went to work. I came home tired and watched TV and went to sleep. The next day, I woke up, showered, ate breakfast, and went to work. I came home tired and watched TV, then went to sleep. Do you know someone who's doing the same thing? Is there someone here who sees this is what is happening in your life? You must learn to construct a pipeline. That is the experience that we are doing in this business. And that is what most impressed me when I read that book. In life, you will either carry buckets or construct a pipeline. So I read the book and I wanted to see what this was all about. I was an employee with 20 plus years of school, lost, confused, carrying buckets. So I read a book by a man named Charles King. Charles King was a professor at Harvard and the University of Illinois, and he wrote a book that is called The New Professional. The surge of network marketing is the next profession of relevance. Network marketing surges today as the distributorship that is most powerful and the business model most attractive in the new economy. So I thought, I'm going to construct a model of business that is the most attractive model in the new economy. So I kept reading and I thought, wow, yes, I stayed enthusiastic. I thought the business classes I took at the university are designed to carry buckets. The same people that have carried buckets for 300 years, washed up, spent, and tired, are the professors all over the world teaching the same information to today's students. Students are shown how to become employees and work in an era that is over. Folks, the industrial age has ended. It is over. And we now live today in the information age. What I did was make this opportunity a reality. I did not begin to convince not one person about this opportunity. Why is it that the traditional education system continues to teach the same thing? So I decided that I'm going to develop the habits and discipline to become free. I started to do the business. I started to build the pipeline. I began to construct the pipeline. For those of you that are invites, look at what is interesting. The first goal that I put was to begin to construct the pipeline, and you get results as soon as you begin to construct. I began to construct it, and the first goal that I put was to replace the salary that I was making. That would be fantastic. So if there are invites that are medics, this is for you. If your salary depends on seeing patients, what will happen the day that you do not see patients? You do not earn. So the problem is not to stop seeing patients because that is your passion. You love medicine. So now don't do it for the money. Do it in a way that has nothing to do with medicine. You continue to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, teacher, nurse, or plumber. It does not matter what your background is. Do you agree with me? It is fantastic. What is it you need to do? What happens is you plug into the education program and start to learn part-time. Continue with your profession to help you because you still have to meet your financial obligations each month. My first job after I graduated college was a position that paid $8 an hour as an employee. 18 years later, I began to construct my pipeline. In 6 months, I replaced the salary I made at my former employer. I thought, wow, that is incredible. I asked this next question. I spent more than 20 plus years studying, and the result was working for a company on a predetermined salary. After studying for more than 20 plus years, this was my result. I make this much, and in this business, I matched what I made in 6 months. Hello? Well, I said there's something that does not add up. There's something that does not add up. because I spent 20 years in school and 15 years as an employee working. This business replaced my salary as an employee in 6 months. So I asked myself the following question: what happens if I learn more? What will happen if I learn more? What does it mean to be free financially? It means that the water arrives to the house from the pipeline. Say goodbye to the buckets, and the pipeline continues to expand and expand and expand and expand. In this moment, it is still expanding. It started in Burleson, Texas. I look at the results and I think this is incredible. What information was it that I had in my head before? The information that I had in my head before gave the results to be an employee. What information did I put in my head today to have different results? The first thing that I'm going to talk about for the people that are invited is something that is very interesting. Why do we carry buckets? Because that is not what we get an education for. We did not have the vision to create a pipeline because this information does not exist in traditional education. Today, universities don't talk about the principles and values you need to transform into a business person. And I am certain that administrators and economists are here also and have never talked about an education at the level our education model does. Do you know why? Because the university does not know about this yet. Is that weird? No, that's not weird. When Galileo Galilei perfected the telescope invented by Hans Lippershey in the 17th century, he had the mental capacity to do something with it. Do you remember what Galileo saw? He saw that the earth was not the center of the universe. It took 1700 years. We were told that the earth was the center of the universe. It is the same as carrying buckets of water on your backs. And one day Galileo perfected the telescope and was able to see the stars. He saw that the earth is not the center of the universe. It is not but a grain of sand on the beach in the infinite universe. It is barely a piece of dust in the universe. The earth is the size of the tiniest bacteria that one can see. The universe, even if it wanted to, will not know when this planet is gone. And this is where modern philosophy was born. This is where Descartes showed up and created doubt in everything. Because he said, wow, how dumb have we been? How dumb have we been? It's incredible. But what I want to tell you is the following. The university took 150 years. Remember, the tribunal brought Galileo front and center so he could tell them what he found. The tribunal told him that he must retract what he is saying. The only way you will live, you either retract what you're saying or we will burn you alive and cut your tongue out like Giordano Bruno in front of all the people to see. Galileo at this time, he was already 69 years of age, and he said, no. I think it's better that I retract what I said. So he retracted it. I don't blame him. He retracted what he said because he did not want to die. Everyone was happy. But when he left the tribunal, he said those famous words, but yet it still moves, albeit it still moves. So Galileo discovered all of this, and he knew it would not die because the information transformed the entire world. Everything that Galileo discovered changed the way we think. It transformed science and it transformed politics. Everything here on earth was transformed after his discovery. This is the same thing that is happening with our economy we live in. The economy is changing and stepping into the future. But what I want to tell you is that the universities accepted what Galileo found 150 years later. It is embarrassing. For 150 years, European university believed Galileo was wrong and continued showing the students the wrong information. That is why it does not bother me today that network marketing is not being taught in the universities. I have a group of engineers, lawyers, administrators, and economists from excellent universities that go with me to the meeting every single week to learn about this industry. They have already lost respect for the universities because they know that they spent 7 years of their life at the university and they were never told about the existence of network marketing. They know that they were being prepared to work for someone else. So do not worry about your children, or don't worry if you never went to a university. The university will know in 150 years that this is good. Yes, traditional education does work, but it is out of date and very slow. That is why it is faster to transform yourself than to change the education system. And while the university changes, you need to change. So I took the leap of faith into this business and I began to change. I share that with you so you know why you have never heard about this. How does this all work? I am going to show you where the majority of the problem is. This is called the flow of the business quadrants. This information I'm going to share with you, I did not know either. It's incredible. 20 plus years of education, postgraduate in business, etc., 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 employee for almost 20 years, and I had no idea how the riches flow. The author says that the riches flow in a way that is very simple. In the world, 96% of the population is an employee or self-employed. It's only 4% of the people who own a business or is an investor. 96% are employees or self-employed. 4% own a business or is an investor. So my question is, do you know people on both sides of the quadrant? Is the majority of the people employees or business owners? The majority of people are employees. The world educates us to ask, is there by chance a position open for me that I can interview for? The people come with the mindset to go ask for a job. It's incredible. They do not create jobs, they ask for jobs. They educate us to beg for a job. Is there something for me? Is there any position for me? Is there not a position for me here, but maybe it would be better if I moved to another city or state? It's full, 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 full of people coming for your job. Put me in some position. Put me in a position. What is the problem? I would move from a city because I was bored, but I did not know what was really happening. I was carrying buckets the whole time. I had no idea of this, and I would get bored of carrying buckets, and I thought I needed a doctorate. What that meant was I get a doctorate so that they could give me bigger buckets to carry. That's the first problem. Now I can finally see people are either an employee or self-employed. So now we know who the employees are. The majority of people are employees because they never educated their character to become a business person. Because school does not educate our character to become a business person. This is because the professors are employees. Someone can't give you what they don't have. It's logical. I had professors at the universities that would teach business administration. I would ask the professors, do you own a business? No, 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 no. I'm a professor. It's incredible. These professors that teach economics and finance tell us what to do. Professors that thought real high of themselves. One of my professors that taught macroeconomics, I asked him, Professor, you must do very well financially. He said, why? Why do you ask? I said, because you teach economics. You know, all the rules in the world. He said, no, I'm in debt. I have a house and a car payment along with alimony. He then told me I teach microeconomics and what you are talking about is macroeconomics. Oh, dear God, it's incredible. How does the economy function? How does the economy function? How does the economy function? This was something that I discovered. If someone discovers how the economy functions, you can become free. The majority of people do not know. The majority of the people do the same thing. If you do not know how the economy works, statistics say people will be an employee for life with the mentality that traditional education teaches us. Who are the self employed? These types are doctors, dentists, lawyers, and realtors. People with bigger buckets who carry water are self employed. When an employee gets paid, you have to run to pay bills. So you might say, what do you mean he carries buckets? Yes, he just makes more money. There are people who are employees that make good money. What I'm showing you is a model of how people earn money differently. The majority of people are employees and a small percentage own a business. To qualify, these businesses have more than 500 employees. Do you know people that have less than 500 people in their business? They carry buckets also. They are not business people. What they do is carry buckets. So what I'm saying is that this business is good for those types of people. This business is good. Okay, now, who is on the inside? The owners of a business. The author says these are business owners with more than 500 employees or people that have a network marketing business. They are called business owners. Business owners. What happens to business owners? The business owners make good money and there is money left over at the end of the month. Spend, 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 and spend. And he lives good, not barely getting by from check to check. Do you know people who work to just get by? The majority of people are not living a fulfilled life. The salary is like a tank of gas. It gets emptied quickly. So you get back to the pump and put gas in so it does not finish. But that is not living. Even with the position that I had, I barely got by compared to the money I make today. So the business owner lives and money is left over. The money that is left over, we use to become an investor. The money that is left over, business owners use to invest. What does this mean? Investors play the game of the economy. They play with money. And because they play the game, they can earn more. So this is something that people complain a lot about. People will say the rich continue to get richer and the poor become poorer. Of course that's the case. It's true. The problem is the education does not show us why. Why, says the author. The problem is people were educated to be on the left side of the quadrant. They were not educated to pass over to the right side. The author says if you stretch and educate yourself to pass over to the right side, in the end you will say, what has happened to me? The author says what you have to do is change your mindset that you have today. You must pass from the left side to the right side. The difference is the level of thinking. A person will make money depending on your head if it is on the left side or the right side. So good news for those that are invited. Today, traditional education that we receive puts us on the left side. We are hopeless on the left side, so we move to a new city or state, but you forget something very important. If you move to another city, you take your head with you. So if you take your head with you, the problems you have today will be the same in a different city. That is the problem of the poor. So one day a doctor came to me and said, what you say is true. I am from so-and-so and I got bored. So I moved to New York and now I'm the manager of a building warehouse. But let me tell you, it is one of the prettiest buildings in New York. His head went with him. He took his head with him. So I have good news for you today. What I discovered in this business is an education model leaders of this business installed. We have an education model that will change your head from the left side of the quadrant to the right side. This is the business project that I present to you today. So what I am saying is this is an education problem. We are inviting you to connect to an education program where all the leaders will teach you. The problem we have is we are not connected to an education program that will help guide our head and mindset from the left side of the quadrant to the right side. I am going to explain to you how it works in 1 minute. It's incredible. Look, I had a good education from the one traditional education that we know. Look at more or less how this works. I was sitting in a hotel listening to this project, and I began to read these books that you will be guided to read. Ask the person that invited you, how do I buy this material? Have them tell you, how do I buy this material? Every month comes one book and cassettes so that you can listen to them at your house, at work, and in your car. So you can use the dead time at the lights or your commute to work. This is where you begin to educate your head so you can pass your mind from the left side to the right side. And the books will come each month. If you start this business, you will begin the education program. In 1 year, you will read 12 books and listen to 60 audios. Those audios are diamonds around the world who have been able to change from the left side to the right side of the quadrant by using this education process. So 60 audios and 12 books each year. Every 4 months, the convention will help you. These are international conventions. Your instructors are financially free who show you and talk with you about this business. They will give you the belief that they have so you can have it as well. At each convention, we spend 2 days training our head to pass from the left quadrant to the right quadrant. That is what we do at a convention. So you will have 12 seminars each year. The first question I have for those invitees is this. Do you think if you sign up today and you read 12 books a year and listen to 60 audios per year, 4 conventions with international professors that are all financially free, and every week there is a business meeting where people will come from everywhere who have results. 52 meetings like this one each year. My question is, do you think in 1 year that your head will be the same? No, it's not possible. This is the business that I'm telling you about. It is education. It is education what we do. It is so different from the education on the outside, any person at any level that you know is going to like this project. Any person, no matter how humble the beginnings they come from, they're going to like this project because it is for all people. The only requisite is to have a head. You only need to have a head and the desire to change and reprogram what we know. How does this happen more or less? I was an employee and I started to construct this business, and one day I crossed over. When I was an employee, I went to the Galleria Mall to shop and I asked about a watch that I liked. I asked the salesperson, how much does this watch cost? She told me $6,000. I was an employee at the time. I thought $6,000 for a watch? Someone had to die for that watch. I thought, no way. That is too expensive, $6,000. That is incredible. People pay $6,000 for a watch. That is why the world is the way it is. There are people that are starving all over the world. How can someone buy that watch at that price? After 2 years, I had fantastic results constructing this project because I was excited about what I was doing. My financial situation began to change and my mind started to change. So my mind had totally changed in an impressive way, and one day it just so happened that I passed by the same store in the Galleria. I asked, how much does that watch cost? $6,000. Instantly it happened. My head said, oh, well, that's a great price for the quality. I thought it was a good price. It appeared to me a very good price. I understood one thing. In the world, there is nothing that is too expensive or cheap. The problem is people do not have money. That is all riches are. It has nothing to do with the watch being expensive. Where is the problem? Is it the times we are in, or is it your head? It's your head. It's in the mind. Your mind is the problem. John Paul Getty, he says that if you gather all the riches and distribute it to the population so the whole world will be happy, if you distributed all the riches to the people, 20% of people have 80% of the money. If you distribute all of the money to the people, in 5 years, the wealth will return to the same 20% who had the money in the first place. The reason is very simple. There are people in the world that have their mind educated to generate riches. Others are educated to be poor. That is aggressive to say, but this is how the economy works. These principles go as far back to Babylon. Study the economy. Study the economy of the Egyptians and the Babylonians. And study the economy of the Greeks 2,500 years ago, and you will always find that there were people who had more than others, because there were people who would learn more than others. So this is what the project we have is about, and this is the most impactful part I wanted to share with you. The rest I'm going to explain to you in 5 minutes. How does this project function? What was I told when I signed up? I was told the following. They told me for less than $100, they will open you a portal on the internet. They will open you a portal on the internet. They will give you a password and login. You will have the key to enter a virtual location. You will have a virtual location on the internet. In the economy outside, you have to pay for a space to operate your business. What happens if you want to start a traditional business, normally you look for space. How much does this space cost each month? You look for employees. You begin to position yourself in the market, etc., etc., etc. Here, for less than $100, the company will open a portal on the internet. That means you do not pay for water, light, machinery, telephone, and you do not hire employees. Good. You have the portal that is on the internet, and you connect to the education program and create a team of people that want to do this. We have a worldwide educational program which includes more than 5,000 professors who all have the results that you want and who will guide you throughout your journey. I was trained by Americans, Spanish, Germans, Italians, and Asians. 2,800 trainers are from China, 2,800 diamonds, 500 from Japan, 10 from Spain, 250 from Thailand, 55 from Russia. This business started 60 years ago and continues to grow. 60 years and growing. This business is just getting started in the world. The best professors and trainers will teach you through the education program. So you will open your portal on the internet. You open the portal on the internet and connect to the education program that has more than 5,000 professors around the world. So I will ask you, where do you find a university like this? Tell me where you will find a university like this. A university where you will be trained by professors who are rich, who have a business, who have the head to think as a business person, who have the freedom, who have the money, and all of them want you to succeed. The only thing the professors want is you to have the results. Here, they will not ask you for your title and your qualifications or resume. They give you results. If you feel you will not have time to do this, you can use this time that you want because it will be your results. You can take 10, 20, or 30 years. It does not matter. But you can take 2 or 4 years. This is the passion I like better. This is the education I like better. This is the education program along with the professors that will show you 3 things. Number 1, you will have a house for the rest of your life. Are you sure about that? Yes. You're going to have a house for the rest of your life, and your children are going to have a place also. This business is in the house of the person that showed me the business. The second part of this business is when you wake up every morning until you go back to sleep. You consume, 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 and consume. And in each house, where there are women, you consume more because women consume more than men. Generally speaking, women always consume more because they have more elements of use. Generally speaking, women in the house will use more of the beauty products. Well, good. So in your house, you consume. How long will you consume in your house? You will consume in your house for the rest of your life. Look at what I was told. He told me there was two options. You either invest in this project or you consume the products as a customer. So when I open my portal on the internet, the portal is directly connected to the manufacturer. The company does not pay for advertisement and they take away the middle person. You buy directly from the manufacturer. 70% of the price you pay for all the products that you buy today for your house goes towards marketing, TV commercials, brick and mortar retailers. And no one even knows that. People think, oh, how nice is it to have this on TV for free? Hello, you pay for the advertising on TV. When you buy the products from the store, you do not pay those fees to the manufacturer like you do here. Everything that you buy from the store, 70% of that cost each month is spent to get the distribution of the products. So in general, we do pay for marketing and advertisement of the products outside of this company. When we watch TV, what is our normal reaction? When we are watching TV and the commercials come on, what do we normally do? We change the channel. So the next time you're watching TV and the commercial comes on with the shampoo that you use, tell your family, please don't change the channel because I paid for this commercial. It's cost me an arm and a leg. So that is the way it is. We end up paying for the plumber, the messenger, and the lady at customer service, the person that mops the floor, security, the doctors, medics, and lawyers. All these examples are not paid for by our manufacturer, and we are so badly educated that we do not know that. The company does not pay for all of that. And when they told me that, I asked right away, what do I have to do? Because I want to do something different. So when you start your business, you will buy from your store directly from the manufacturer. You take away the marketing and the middleman, and you buy at the price of the manufacturer. And really, I like that idea. I was told I either do this or you will buy for the rest of your life from a supermarket. I said, well, that makes sense to me. The first thing that I have to do is consume. It's logical. Consume. What products do we have? We have products to wash dishes, things to wash, soap to take a shower, toothpaste, deodorant, everything that I use to wash dishes. So I started to consume the products. People who are invited, do you understand this first part? Okay. So the second part and the most exciting part, the second part I get excited because the first part, every time that you consume products, they give you points. You buy your products from the manufacturer, which saves you money, and the company gives you points. Have you noticed that the supermarkets give you points? Many companies give you points or use some sort of reward system. After you have bought thousands of dollars from the store, they will say, you have accumulated points. Do you want to redeem them? And with your points, you will receive a wooden spoon. Wow. So now I know what I get with my points, and we know that this exists. Over here, the business will give you volume of points. The first way that you are going to make points is by consuming. Is that easy or hard? Easy, easy. Every time you consume from your portal on the internet, they give you points. The next thing that you are going to learn, you will need trainers, and you will learn to become a great communicator. You will use these events each week that talk about the project. Each week you will bring people here. In the beginning, you will be a bit shy. I have heard some people say, what do I do if they stick their tongue out at me? What will happen if they say I'm crazy? So you begin to come to these events every week. You will talk to other business owners. Look how powerful this is. The second thing we learn to do is make a list of the best people that you know. Do you know people who consume products? Everyone does. That is the answer of someone who sees the opportunity. The whole world consumes. The whole world consumes. But when I am told that the whole world consumes, I will show you what you have to do and make a list of the most awesome people that you know, because there are bad people who consume also. When you tell me you're paying 70% of your product's price for marketing and advertisement, yes, I do pay the 70%, and so what? There will be people like that. So we will make a list of the most interesting people that you know, the most optimistic ones that want to learn, the ones who want to do something different. What we will do is tell them all about the project, or you will learn to tell them about this. What are you going to tell them? I'm starting a project that they pay you to consume. Is that hard? It's easy. We're doing a project where you buy from the manufacturer and they give you points for what you buy. At the end of the month, they do not exchange the points for a wooden spoon. They exchange it for money. So when you consume, they give you points. When Richard consumes, they give you points. When Patrick consumes, they give you points. Look at what is interesting. When you started your business and Richard started a business with you, he went and had people start the business where it began to grow. All of the growth from him also goes to you. This is where the products function. That is when you learn how to use the products. It is the most ethical business that I have ever seen because you get paid what you deserve. They pay you exactly what you deserve. I make more money than the person who I joined the business with. And that made me feel really good because I did the work. The business people that are here, can you see the opportunity? For the people that like this business, I know that some of you have a business, and I want to share with you one of the secrets that impressed me most about this business. When I was told about the project, I learned and got educated about the project. It was so incredible that I did not want to go to work in the economy outside because they can't pay me what this business pays, and they can't give me the quality of life that this business does. The person that signed me up stays with my talent for how long? For life. There is the biggest secret. When I started this business, my upline will stay with my talent for life. Traditional education outside is not as powerful as the educational program. If someone tells me I am not motivated or convince me to do something, I tell them to leave because I am already educated in the business. We are the best business and have the talent inside. Wow. So, what you have in your hands is the possibility to marry talent. Outside, they can't do it because if a famous company outside tried to have all this talent with so many people and they started to work for one company, in 1 year we would get bored and leave. The biggest companies could not retain us because we would not want to work for them. Because outside you work to just get by and survive financially. Over here you work for your freedom. That is why no one wants to leave. That is the biggest difference between traditional business and this business. The big secret is we contact other people and those people connect to the education program. What we are doing is tapping into the talent of that person. So your business will expand and people will leave. You get educated and your business expands all over the world. I do not know of any business that does this without a capital investment. The capital investment is made by the company for expansion and research. What are we going to tell the people that come into this business? To consume, only consume, consume, consume. Consume for your house. Consume for your house. That is what we do. Our whole life is consume for your house. So they will say, okay, I want to consume. So I will start to put people to consume because I like the products and they are going to like it also. That is the second part. And the third part is even easier. Let's say that you brought 4 people here. 2 say it is interesting, but I'm going to think about it, and 2 say they want to start. The 2 that say they want to start, I connect them as partners. They are part of the business, and the 2 that don't want to do the business, you tell them to consume the products like a customer because it sounds like this is not for you. All over the world, there are people who don't understand. It is not the right time, or I make too much money outside and I don't want to do it. Those people we say, become a customer. What I do is demonstrate the product that I consume and they become customers. So, right there, you begin to move volume, and that is what's impressive. Because if the person starts the business, what do I have them do? Consume. If a person starts the business, what do I have them do? Consume. If a person starts the business, what do? I have them consume. If they do not start the business, have them become a customer. So I consume and invite others, and I have the entire business consuming. And if they don't want to sign up, I have them consume. So it is a business of consuming, not sales. It is a business of consuming. Imagine every day consuming what you do on a daily basis, and you invite others to do the same, and they begin to consume. And the ones that do not enter the business become a customer to consume. Imagine 10,000 people doing that. Imagine approximately 10,000 people doing that. How much volume does that move? My business does not have a brick and mortar location. I do not have secretaries. I do not have employees. Simply with the volume, the business moves each month, the points are added up, and they transfer money to my bank account. When I worked as an employee, I would go to the bank and the bank would stick their tongue out at me. Now I go to the bank and it's an incredible moment. Don't have any money and see how it goes at the bank. There are people that say you will always talk about money. Yes, you do not have any and see how it goes. If something happens in your family, who's going to help? Stay with no money and go eat at a restaurant for free. Money is very important. What happened is that we are educated without any knowledge of money. We don't know about money. We were not given an education about money and taught to be financially prosperous. Traditional education is designed so that people do not understand things that have to do with money. The highest level of people are educated about money. These are the three things that we do. You consume, invite others to consume straight from the manufacturer, and if they don't want to do the business, invite them to consume the products. Those three things add up, and you get paid each month on the 15th. When I was an employee, I would get depressed. Now, when I get depressed, I look at my bank account. When the explosion of business happens, so does your check. It explodes. Have you seen that in the economy outside? The check stays the same. We are all talking about two totally different things here. It is the best time to start a business like this one. You see what is happening in Europe? Economies are breaking all over the world, and in Europe is doing the exact same thing. It is called the end of the industrial age and the beginning of the information age. The problem is that the government does not tell you because of the TV. The public will get too scared. It is called a change from the industrial era to the information age. Every time there is a change, a lot of people die of hunger, and that is what has happened during the agrarian age and the industrial age. The industrial era is over, and we have begun the information age over 20 years ago. It has been 20 years since the industrial age has ended and the information age has started. It is incredible that the universities are still educating people to work in the industrial age. It's incredible. The traditional education was created for people of the industrial age. That is why we stay as employees, because the only solution is that you educate yourself and become a business person. Do not expect help from the government. They can't tell you that because of the TV. This does not get votes. Employment is going to end one day. And if there are employees, it's going to be generated employees. It's going to be bad quality and badly done. Many modern thinkers are saying eventually they will take away Social Security. There are countries that only pay salary and have no 401k or pension. People don't know because they don't read. They don't know where the economy is going, and that is what you will find in this project. There are only three things that you have to do, but the most impactful thing that we do is the education program. An education that will take you from point A to point B. By using your leadership, by using lecture and by using conferences. For any of you that are here, it is very easy to replace what you make in 6 months. The only thing that you need is information. Get informed. Ask the person who brought you here to give you information. I want those audios. Listen to the information. When I heard that information, it lit a fire in me.